And welcome. You join us this weekend in beautiful Brazil. It's free practice here at the Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache. Turns 1, 2 and 3 that form the center S are a series of tight left, right, left turns that really are an extremely difficult sequence of corners to master. The first turn runs downhill left-handed and provides massive understeer. It's then followed by a fast right-left combination through the Curva do Sol and onto the Reta Aposta straight.
Added in 1990 when F1 racing returned to Interlagos, it is fitting that one of the best corners on the F1 calendar takes its name from one of the sport's greatest drivers, Ayrton Senna. Get this section wrong and you'll leave yourself open for the overtake on the approach to turn 4.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video here today. We're here for the Brazilian Grand Prix for F1 2019 career mode, the second last race of season 1 here in the Racing Point. Now, obviously a crucial thing to note, we've skipped over the Circuit of the Americas. Simple reason for that is nothing happened. We literally, I think we started 8th and finished 8th or something like that. It was really absolutely boring as hell race, so I thought there's no real point in showing it when really nothing happened. There was no retirements from the AI, there were no crashes or anything, and it was honestly one of the most boring races I think I've actually ever done, so I thought there was no real point in, you know, in showing that and basically just showing like a 10-minute highlight reel of me just driving around and around doing nothing. So yeah, so we've skipped over the US Grand Prix and here we are for the Brazilian Grand Prix. Practice, it could have gone a bit better, I guess. We had several moments. Obviously there was that moment right there with I think that might have been Valtteri Bottas. A couple of moments in the dry on our own as well, but we finished practice 1 in a relatively solid position. Perez right up the front as well, so once again showing what this package is capable of. But resource points, we got a fairly solid chunk of those, so we might look to do a lot of big upgrades maybe after Abu Dhabi or something, just depends. But yeah, that's been practice, it all went fairly well, so I think that's everything. So yeah, I think that's it, so let's go to quali.
Welcome to qualifying here in Interlagos as the cars are readying up for what's likely to be a very important session. Looking at this field today, Anthony, do you think we're going to see anyone take a chance? Maybe run the hard tyres and save some of the grippier tyres for the race tomorrow?
Well, I'd be surprised in all honesty. It's only the front runners that really have the pace to get away with that, and even then, at the end of the day, it's a big risk. Track position is the most important thing, and it's rarely worth sacrificing for a slightly more optimal strategy in the race, so I doubt we're going to see anyone trying it. I have been wrong before though. We certainly do see some risky decisions every now and then, and it's a gamble that's sometimes worth taking. But if it were me in the car, I would want to be on the fastest tyre for my qualifying lap, without a doubt.
I would agree, Anthony Davidson. That is exactly what we're going to do. We're going to go out on the soft compound tyres straight away, try and get a time on the board. Should be good enough to get us into Q1, into Q2 rather. I'm not going to lie, I wasn't extremely confident of getting into the third and final part of qualifying, but obviously given what Perez can do in this car and what we've seen him do, you would probably think we'd be able to manage it. But we're going out right at the end of Q1. I set a lap time right at the start of the session. It wasn't a bad lap by any stretch of the imagination. It leaves us in P14 at the moment, so not the greatest lap in the world. We're set to improve. Should get us through into qualifying 2, hopefully, across the line. And we only jump up 1 spot to P13, so I wouldn't exactly say we're very safe. But we cut to the end of Q1 now, and we do make it through in P14. Perez all the way up in P3. So once again, our teammate just absolutely just handing a backside to us here in qualifying. So, you know, I really don't know, because that wasn't a bad lap. That was a pretty good lap. But he just outdid us by a mile, so cutting on to the end of Q2 now. Just decided to do 1 lap right at the end of the session on the last set of new soft tyres that we have. Hopefully this might be good enough to get us into Q3, but we'll see in a few moments time. Across the line, do we make it into the final part of qualifying? No, so it's only P12. So we have not made it out of qualifying 2. Perez makes it through into the final part of qualifying in P7. So does our rival Lucas Weber in P6. So getting outdone once again by our teammate and our rival in qualifying. I don't know what we're doing wrong at the moment, to be honest. It's really weird. But anyway, we have won the rivalry against our old F2 teammate. So that's something, I guess, that we can already take out of this episode before the race has even started. But yeah, still fighting Perez in the rivalry. Looks like he might actually get the upper hand on us this time around, but we'll see how that develops. But yeah, 437 resource points, so hopefully we might purchase a couple of upgrades later on. But let's get into the Brazilian Grand Prix. Let's go.
Bad luck in qualifying. That's not exactly ideal. But there's no points for Saturday. Keep a cool head and make up for it in the race.
As surely as the sun rises in the morning, the Brazilian Grand Prix packs out the grandstands and creates incredible drama. Title deciders, heartbreak, triumph and home glory. All these and more can be found in abundance here at the Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache. It's an unusual anti-clockwise race here at Interlagos, where the Sao Paulo locals are packed into the grandstands at each of the 15 corners around this classic 2.7-mile circuit. Two very fast sections bookend the famous and highly technical Sector 2, where getting a good run out of Junsao into one of the two DRS zones will be the key to any overtaking prospects today. And it's an absolute pleasure to be joined once again by Anthony Davidson. So, let's briefly discuss Lewis Hamilton. What a season they've had. A well-deserved championship victory, and the pressure now surely off, with the title already in the bag.
It really is well deserved. I wouldn't say it's been a faultless title challenge, but certainly one that has been consistent and well managed. Here's hoping they let off a bit of steam today and give us an exciting race.
It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position, and starting alongside in P2 is Sebastian Vettel. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Bottas, Pierre Gasly and Faber, Perez, Norris, Raikkonen and Lee, Kvyat, Magnussen, Devon Butler and Verstappen, Ricciardo, Stroll, George Russell and Robert Kubica, Albon. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. And Romain Grosjean sits at the back of the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
You're lower on the grid than we wanted. See to it that we improve throughout the race.
We will try and do that, boss. Welcome, guys, to the grid of the Brazilian Grand Prix. A couple of the AI with grid penalties, so we're elevated up to P10, so that's nice. I think it was, who was it? It was Max Verstappen, Romain Grosjean and Alex Albon. I think those were three drivers to be basically at the back of the field, so that moves us up into P10, so that's that should hopefully help us out a little bit, maybe make our job here today a little bit easier. But as we head off for the formation lap, I'm not going to lie, I wasn't extremely confident. Brazil, it is a track which normally I do have pretty reasonable pace at, but obviously it's an easy track to make mistakes, and I have made quite a few of those in practice. As you would have seen at the start of the video, I was sideways and here, there and everywhere, and I'm flying off the track more than once in dry and wet conditions. Crucially enough to note, there is rain set for the end of the race as well, so that will undoubtedly play a part, and we might be switching onto intermediate tyres by the end. But as we reform back on the grid now, P10 on the grid, Perez just over there on the other side in P7, so hopefully we can get a good start and try and challenge our teammate and get ahead of him, and I guess what you could say is our ex-rival now, Lucas Weber. But anyway, here we go, 5 red lights for the Brazilian Grand Prix, and away we go. Looks like the initial launch was pretty good, but we just don't go anywhere compared to the soft runners ahead of us. Going into turn 1 now, are we going to think about a move on the guys ahead of us? But we've got two guys alongside us now. That's Kevin Magnussen, sorry, and Danny Kvyat came out, kind of forced us wide a little bit there. Now made more contact with Danny Kvyat. It's been a really scrappy start. Now we're going to try and get back past Kevin Magnussen now. Still someone on our right hand side. They do not want to give this up. Magnussen's still there on our right hand side, but eventually he backs out of it. Man, oh man, what a start to the race that was. Alright, so you can probably argue the point only barely, but we have survived the opening few corners, just. But anyway, we've survived. We've fought off the attack from Kevin Magnussen, Danny Kvyat, and about 7 other cars that probably wanted to get past as well. So, eyes forward now. We've got our old F2 teammate just ahead of us in Lucas Weber, so we'll try and get out of the Renault driver as quickly as we can. Crucial thing to note, obviously, everybody ahead of us is on softs. We are on mediums. I am trying an alternate strategy compared to everybody else. Hopefully this might pay off and help us out. I was kind of hoping, not going to lie, that the rain might have hit around lap 18, lap 20, and I might be able to take these mediums to the rain period without having to make a pit stop. I can say in advance, unfortunately, that doesn't happen, but anyway, we'll worry about that later. On to lap 4 now, DRS overtake, rich fuel mixture, pull out, make the move on Lucas Weber, down into turn 1. Oh god, we nearly rear-ended Kimi Räikkönen. That was very close, but we get the move done on our old F2 teammate. And that's up to P9. Next up, the Alfa Romeo of Kimi Räikkönen. Oldest driver on the grid as well, I believe. So hopefully we can try and get by him as quickly as we can. I believe he's in a battle with his teammate Antonio Giovinazzi. So 2 Alfas in the top 8, so that's pretty cool to see. That's a warning for exceeding track limits. That's not what you want to be seeing. But crucially, we haven't really been able to make any kind of an impact on the 2 Alfas. But yeah, on to lap 11 now. And we're finally close enough to maybe try and think about a move on Räikkönen now. It's taken us 7 laps to get right under the rear wing of the Alfa. We're basically equal pace with Kimi and Gio, I would say, but we're really not that much quicker. But here we go, cutting on to the end of lap 11 now. And it looks like there's a bit of a queue up ahead of us, so people might be starting to back up now. So now we're going to try and make a move if we can. Räikkönen diving up the inside into turn 1 on Lando Norris, and my apologies, it's Lando Norris in the other Alfa now, it's not Antonio Giovinazzi. I will get used to that eventually, but they held each other up coming out of the centre houses, past Lando and past Räikkönen. That's up to P6 now, and next up is our teammate Sergio Perez, battling away with a Red Bull and a Ferrari it looks like, so we'll try and get up to these 3 if we can. Cutting on to lap 14, we've caught up to Perez, but he peels into the pits, so that would be a pit stop for maybe hard tyres this early. Maybe go to mediums. I don't know. AI obviously can probably look after their tyres a bit better than what the average human can. But anyway, we'll do what we can. But getting on to the end of lap 15 now, we got Lewis Hamilton behind us. I think he's already made a pit stop as he is a fair way behind us. Robert Kubica is out of the race. Unfortunate there for the Williams driver. Let's just have a look. No smoke once again. He's had this problem a few times now, it looks like. No smoke coming out of the car. But unfortunately, Kubica's day is done here at Brazil. But cutting on to the end of lap 16 now, and we're going to come in the pits with Pierre Gasly just in front of us. Oh, God, we nearly sped. Only just managed to get it slowed down, but we did anyway. So, into the pits now at the start of lap 17. Main reason I come in now was the engineer told me about 2 laps ago the rain was still about 10-15 minutes away, so I thought, okay, I really don't think I can make these tyres last till maybe like lap 23 or 24 when the rain is supposedly going to come. So now I guess it's really just a case of go as hard as we can for a couple of laps. But as you can see now, as we come out of the pits, we've jumped our teammate Sergio Perez as well, but a more crucial thing to note is it's raining. So I'm a little bit confused right now. My engineer told me 2 laps ago the rain was at least going to be another 10 to 15 minutes. Perez thinks about to dive up the inside, but nothing happening for him there. But the rain is already here. So now it's this is kind of odd, and we're in an awkward spot here because I don't want to double stack with Perez. But coming on to the end of lap 18 now, we're coming back into the pits again, and Sergio is following So our teammate is going to get absolutely screwed over here in the pits. He's going to have to double stack behind us, and his race will essentially be over. So into the pits now, set intermediate tyres going on. DRS has been disabled. We jump out right behind Sebastian Vettel, so we could potentially be on the snag a top 5 here if we're lucky enough. But man, that's unfortunate for Perez. Maybe he should have stayed out an extra lap, I'm not too sure. Maybe he would have lost more time if he stayed out an extra lap. The rain certainly looks like it's coming down very heavily, but man, that has just completely screwed over the Mexican. He will not be happy about that. And, you know, on some level, you really can't blame him either, because that's really unfortunate. We were on for a double points finish there, but unfortunately, it doesn't look like that's going to happen. We're coming on to lap 22, though, and we are still all over the rear of Sebastian Vettel. Not quite close enough to make a move into turn 1. We just can't seem to get close enough in the areas where you want to make a move. Coming up to lap 23, we're going to send it down the inside, but we've gone way too deep. Almost making contact with the Ferrari, but he just avoids us. And yeah, we completely screwed that up. Just broke way too late. Just misjudged the amount of grip we'd have by a mile. Coming on to lap 24, that's a warning for exceeding track limits. Our second one of the Grand Prix, so one more and we'll end up with a 3-second time penalty. So we better avoid those if we can. Cutting up to lap 32, Sebastian has just eked away ever so slightly from us, but we're still pushing, trying to catch him, and just trying to do anything to unsettle him if we can, but unfortunately I just don't think it's going to be enough. He's pulling away from us. We got a solid gap to Max Verstappen behind us as well. We're low on fuel, so we need to save that. But into turn 1 on lap 33, big lose at the back end there, and that was really the point in time where I thought, okay, let's just settle for P6, don't go trying any stupid heroics and throwing away a solid points finish. Let's just bring this thing home, get a few more points on the board, and yeah, we'll come away with P6. Max still a fair way behind us. Tyre wear not looking too great actually. The rear tyres are pretty worn, and we haven't really done a huge amount of laps on the intermediate. Oh well, no, we have done about half the race I think, haven't we? So it's probably fair enough the amount of wear they've got, but as you can see, just struggling a bit here on this final lap just to keep this thing underneath us. Meanwhile, further up the field, I think Lewis Hamilton is going to win this race. He'll be coming across the line in a few seconds' time, I do believe. And crucial thing to note, he did win the World Championship last time out at USA, I think, as well. That was about the only interesting thing that happened at that race, actually. So, Hamilton is the Drivers' Champion. Mercedes very close to wrapping up the Constructors. I think they've actually already done that, if I'm not mistaken. But there we go. Hamilton wins the Brazilian Grand Prix. Another win, and probably a dominant win for him once again as well. So congrats to him and Mercedes. But we come up to the line, and from P10, it's going to be P6. Not a bad race. I'll definitely take that.
Can't complain about that one. That was an excellent drive.
That's it for another Grand Prix and a fantastic win for Mercedes. Tell me, Ant, how did they manage to achieve this win?
Well, keeping their tyre temperatures up in the tricky wet conditions was really important. There's not much grip out there at the best of times, and it's 10 times worse if you're out there on cold tyres. So the way they kept the rubber in its proper operating window was a huge advantage today.
Mercedes are on top form once again after an excellent race weekend. It's great to see them up on that podium once again.
So there we go, guys. That has been career mode here today for the Brazilian Grand Prix. P6, and Perez does actually come home in P8, so we do get a double points finish for the team, so pretty good recovery from him there. But for us, P6, pretty solid result. Lewis Hamilton wins the Brazilian Grand Prix again. Unofficially, your champion for Season 1, so congrats to the British driver. Mercedes basically got the constructors wrapped up as well, so another year of Mercedes dominance. We've got P3 basically sewn up in the drivers and constructors as well, so really, really happy for the team and our individual selves. But let's talk to Claire, see what she thinks.
Good day today. Let's have your take on it. It was more like Dodgems than Formula 1 today, wasn't it?
Oh, I wouldn't go that far. I mean, there was a couple of little wheel taps. The start was pretty chaotic, but after that, it wasn't that bad, was it?
You were cutting your way through the field during the race.
Cutting our way through? I wouldn't really go that far. Different strategy probably helped us out quite a bit.
How do things stand between you and Lucas now you've come out on top of your competition?
Oh, I think it'll just push him to try and be better, and obviously it does the same to us. We're still good mates, so yeah, all good.
How do you feel the weather affected the outcome today?
Not gonna lie, probably actually did us a favour. I don't think we would have ended up P6 if it was a full dry race.
Great. Well, that's everything.
Thank you very much, Claire. So there we go, guys. That has been career mode for episode 20, the Brazilian Grand Prix. Won the rivalry against Lucas Weber, but unfortunately we have lost the rivalry to our teammate Sergio Perez, so that's not really the way you want to damn near close out the season, but we'll start a new rivalry in Abu Dhabi, so hopefully we can get the upper hand on him heading into Season 2, but all in all, been a really, really good race today.
Great work. That's exactly the kind of result I'm looking for. Keep it up.
Alright, thank you very much, Emma. So, there we go. This has been the Brazilian Grand Prix, round 20 of career mode. Done and dusted, P6 and P8 for myself and Sergio. Pretty decent result, so can't complain about that one too much. Upgrade-wise, we've got a major weight reduction upgrade on the way. I think a major front downforce upgrade as well. Those are both set to come in, I believe, at the start of Season 2. So hopefully that can give us a nice big boost in performance. We're going to go for a, I think that was a weight redistribution upgrade, I think. So hopefully that can help us out a little bit as well. And yeah, hopefully by the end of Abu Dhabi next time out, we can purchase maybe one or two more extra upgrades to give us another big boost heading into Season 2. But that's it from me today, guys. If you guys enjoyed, remember to leave a like, subscribe so you can stay tuned for plenty more. And until the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, I'll see you guys next time.